Sei-turkey is our plant-based replacement for the holiday turkey. It's made from seitan, hence the name, and it's filled with a rice pilaf stuffing. It'll take about 20 minutes to put together and an hour and a half to bake, and will fill your house with wonderful holiday aromas. For the outer seitan layer, the ingredients are 1 1/4 cups of vital wheat gluten flour, 2 tablespoons of oil, 2 tablespoons of tamari or soy sauce, 2 1/2 cups of cold water, 2 tablespoons of powdered vegetable broth, 2 tablespoons of powdered onion, 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast, 1/4 cup of garbanzo flour, and for the herbs we'll need 2 teaspoons of parsley, 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1 teaspoon of rosemary, 1 teaspoon of sage, about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, pepper to taste, and for the outer layer we'll use a splash of olive oil and a pinch of parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. The ingredients you'll need for the stuffing are 3/4 cups of cooked rice, 2 stalks of celery diced, 1/2 cup of diced onion, salt and pepper to taste, and we again need that parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. It's a teaspoon of parsley, a teaspoon of rosemary, 1/2 teaspoon of sage, and 1/2 teaspoon of thyme. I'm using brown rice for my stuffing. About half of it is long grain rice, and since I want it to be sticky, the other half is short grain brown rice. I'm also using a little bit of sticky black rice, so it'll help it stick together and makes it look prettier. For equipment, a sauté pan, a wooden spoon, a tablespoon, 3 large pieces of foil, and a cookie sheet. Preheat the oven to 325. Heat the oil in your sauté pan over medium-high heat, and then sauté the celery and the onions until they're soft, about 5 to 8 minutes. Add the herbs, salt and pepper to taste, and then mix in the rice. Set aside. Mix the dry ingredients together, including the herbs and the salt and pepper. Mix the wet ingredients together. Pour the wet ingredients into the dry and mix them together. Don't overmix them. It should only take about 30 seconds to a minute to stir everything together. If they're too mixed, it's hard to spread out. Splash a little oil on the foil and then sprinkle those extra herbs on top. Spread the seitan mixture on top of the foil, about 3/4 to an inch thick, and make it into a rectangle. Spread the rice mixture horizontally down the center of the seitan. Use the foil to roll the seitan up over the stuffing. Then use the other end to bring both ends together. Pinch the seitan together and then roll it up inside the foil. Pinch the ends together so the stuffing is inside the seitan, and then twist the ends of the foil. When you roll it up, it needs to be firm, but not too tight. Roll your sei-turkey in 2 more layers of foil. Seitan tends to expand when it bakes, and we don't want it to explode out the sides. Set your sei-turkey on your baking dish. Bake it for an hour and a half in your preheated oven. When it's done, take it out of the oven and let it cool for 5 to 10 minutes. Unwrap it and slice, and it's great with mashed potatoes and mushroom gravy. This sei-turkey will serve 10 to 12 people. If you don't eat the whole thing, wrap it back up and put it in the refrigerator for up to a week. Or you could freeze it for a couple of months. Just make sure you thaw it thoroughly when you're ready to eat it, and then warm it up in a 200-degree oven until it's warm.